you guys, welcome to my studio. This is a cool project that I want to show you guys today, but the thing that I love the most about it is that this is wire on top of wire on top of wire. All we're using is wire. So there's some pretty cool techniques in here, but you know, one of the first things in understanding silversmithing and developing your own style is I want to say there's only two forms of metal. And it's either sheet metal or wire, and that's it. You're either gonna, you know, and I always talked about that with found objects in metal. I did so much work way back with found objects years and years ago. And my work that I was doing with found objects, like I really reduced any object that's metal to either sheet metal or wire. So it's really cool. In some of the things I talk about, I show how to make wire into sheet metal, and that's really what we'll be doing today, is really using some of the forms, actually in a couple different processes through this. So it's pretty cool. But I wanted to tell you guys, on the outside, on my channel here, you know, I just show real casual. I'm not that worried about mistakes or things like that. But I want to let you know that if you guys decide to get inside my membership, I have it on Kajabi, and it's a beautiful membership, and I do an absolutely pristine film every month. I have a beautiful community where we meet together online and we can talk and meet each other, and I, you know, can really show some good examples and hear you and meet you. So, you know, and then I also do a lot of the creativity work too. So anyway, you know, if you can't afford it, it's just $25 a month. And if you can't afford it, just enjoy what's here. You're going to learn anyway. But if you want to go deeper into my community, it'd be great to see you in my membership. So think about that. Everything's in the profile, up in my profile. And it's my unfolding membership at $25 a month. So you get a lot for it. So anyway, that'd be really fun. So what I want to show you today is this. I'm going to show it in a bracelet style, but I'll also show you in a little bit how many different ways that I have really turned this one technique and expanded it into necklaces and wire forms. And this is some of the work that I brought to Milan Jewelry Week, and I actually won an award for it. So it was absolutely amazing, and I loved it. So this is something I came up with. I know I talk about, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, you know, really in industrial. I'm back in an industrial building again here. So, you know, it's like I can see all the wires, basically wires between the glass and, you know, the duct work and all of this type of work here. So it's pretty cool. So anyways, here I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to show you a lot of work here on my anvil. It'll be, you know, really hammering, going through, and I'm just going to be here building out the whole process. So, you know, I'll show some techniques and just relax. I'll put on some nice music during the quiet times and, you know, use it as an ASMR, right? So I'll be putting this together and rolling through. So thanks for joining me, and here we go. Okay, really, you guys, I have a big 1,400 square foot studio, but all of my silversmithing work I just do in this little bitty area right here that's set up. So you really don't need a huge space for your work. I usually, you know, use some of my space for mixed media work, or, you know, wood or leather or anything like that, you know, and also for the energy work too. So this is all where I do all my work right here. And I have this bench cleaned off a little bit. This is my favorite, the big bench here. And I have it cleaned off now. It always feels so good to start fresh that way. Oh my gosh. So I wanted to show you guys for this project, I'm going to be using some bronze. A lot of us, we've talked about bronze before. So many people have asked me about bronze. One of the next projects I'll show is just really how to solder with bronze. But for now, this is a 12 gauge bronze. And the thing that I love about bronze over brass is bronze is like butter. You know, it's so dreamy and yummy. It's a lot like a gold to work with. Gold is, you know, a little easier to work with, although this does get very oxidized the same. But bronze is much easier to work with. Brass is stiff, and it's like very hard, gets very hard. You have to anneal it a lot. This one we're going to anneal too, but really it's much softer. So I have a 12 gauge. You can get this from, you know, from Rio Grande has it, really. This is a jeweler's grade bronze, and also Metalliferous has it. Parawire has it. That's where I used to always get all my bronze from. So you need bronze, and you're gonna need maybe about, oh my gosh, if you know, really everyone is so individual. If it's just a tiny bracelet, you're just gonna need, you know, like a foot all the way up to 10 feet for a big piece. That you guys decide. I just get it on the spool. It ends up being cheaper. And then I have about a good 3/4 of a yard of a 20 gauge sterling silver round. This is gonna be pretty cool for really closing these pieces up. You'll see later. So I'm gonna put this aside. Some of the other things that we'll need, I usually like to use this punch just to mark areas of where I want to drill. I'm setting up with my drill. You can use a hand drill or you can use your drill. When I'm in the studio, I just use my electric tools. You know, when I'm not in the studio, I use my nomadic toolkit, which you guys can dig through my site and you can find it's a whole list of tools that are about $350 where you can solder anything that I have built. In fact, I spent 3 years only using that nomadic toolkit and I built everything that I possibly wanted to. So it was pretty cool. So another thing that I really am going to be using today to draw a bead is this benzomatic torch. I'm not going to use my big torch. This is MAP gas and really puts out a lot of heat and pressure. And show you guys. Voila. So that's what I'm using here, and that'll give me the heat just to draw the bead that I'm looking to do. So, okay. And this is a little bit of forge work, so you want to make sure that you are, you know, your body is in good shape. I love doing yoga, really just to keep my muscles in shape so I can do this type of work without getting sore, without getting carpal tunnel syndrome. So when I'm standing next to my anvil and you're doing this type of work, you want your thumb to hit right at the top of your anvil, your first digit right here. And then you know that you have your anvil positioned right. So depending on what type of shoes you like to wear, I usually like to wear rubber, maybe 2 or 3 inches high. So I set my anvil up for that too. And usually I have a couple inches of rubber. It just makes me feel good when I'm standing for long periods of time. And I have like a big stump here. So the stump with my 80-pound anvil on top really gives me a huge resist when I'm working with my metal. So when I have a huge resist, I can do tiny little taps that are so gentle, and that makes my ears feel good during the day. When I'm working, I can hear my music and I can just focus and work on things through here. So this is the hammer that I love. This hammer I have had for so long. The hammer that you're gonna want for a forging hammer, it just has a tiny little curve like this right here in the front. So you can pick any hammer and, you know, one that fits you and feels good. If you can go in person, oh my gosh, I love when I can get out to New Mexico. There's so many different silversmithing shops there, you know, or just places they have hammers, and really just try out your hammer. Your hammer is your, you know, I know carpenters know this and blacksmiths, but it's like as a silversmith, if you're doing a lot of hammering or forging, you know, this type of work, you're gonna really want a hammer that fits you well. So here it's nice. There's a little divot right here that really fits my hand well. And, you know, I can get in and I really wanna use the weight of the hammer to do a lot of the work for me. I wanna use my bicep and I wanna use the weight of the hammer, but I don't wanna see this area squeezing very tightly, because if you're squeezing or if you're bending your wrist, you're in trouble. You're going to start hurting yourself and you're never going to want to do forging again. And there's a lot of people that I know that have done themselves wrong at the beginning. So it's so good to start from the beginning. I know it seems crazy to be teaching. I actually have inside my membership just some simple stretches that really can do you good, you know, doing on a daily basis. That would take 12 minutes, you know. But it's like you really want to keep your back and your posture straight when you're coming in. I've been a silversmith for over 30 years. So 30 years, yeah. So So you want to make sure that you keep, your shoulders back and your spine straight and your legs straight and you're using your muscles, and then you're in good shape. Yeah? Okay, so this is also this is a blacksmith hammer. This one is such a beautiful hammer. I love buying rustic tools. If you guys have heard me before, I talk a lot about, oh my gosh, I love going into different countries and seeing how silversmithing is done. And believe me, we are spoiled here in the UK, Canada, US. We have got all the tools that we need at our fingertips. So I've been back behind the scenes watching in Morocco, in Indonesia, in Thailand, and really watching and seeing how beautiful silversmithing is done, with just tools that have been passed down from 3, 4, 5, 6 generations. You have a hammer and you can forge, So really they're valuable. So I really try to keep really good care of my hammers too. This one is rustic. I drag this hammer all the way back from a Paris flea market. So this one is beautiful. It's been worn so much by the heat. Blacksmiths, they work with a fire and they pull it out and they work right on a fired piece. So the edges are just burnished so flat and beautiful. So that's pretty cool. But it's not set up where unfortunately, it's not set up where it's comfortable in my hand. Wah, it makes me sad about that, but it does have this beautiful little divot out here, if you can see. This is where I can hold on to it. You want to hold low. You don't want to hold up here because then you're working too hard and you're not working right. You want to hold it here so the hammer can do the weight can do the work for you, so that's a pretty cool technique. So, and you don't want to bend your wrist at all, so this is just work like this. So this one I found, it was just a little too heavy for me, and it ended up bending my wrist like in here. So I had to put this one aside. I was getting such a sore wrist when I started working with it a lot, which was way too bad. This one's lighter. You wouldn't believe how much lighter it is, and it just does me good. You never want to put your thumb up here. You never want to put your finger up here. We're used to guiding tools with our thumbs, so that's would end up really putting a strain on your hands after a while. So I have spent, this has been a technique that I have loved, and I just have, once I started forging, oh my gosh, I was forging for a couple of years. So it's really this industrial look, and I'll show you some of the industrial jewelry at the end. If you stay here, you can see some of the pieces that I put together using this type of forging style. Then my snips. I'm gonna need a really good strong snips for my 12 gauge wire. So I think I have covered everything, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. How about that? So I'm gonna start by cutting, this is a good technique too, if you so I'm gonna start cutting I'm gonna cut about 3 inches, 3 of them, about 3 inches. So when I cut, another way to not do any damage on your wrist, when I cut, I'm just gonna lay my pliers right here, like this, and then I'm just gonna lean into my pliers with my weight. Bam. Now, and that was we get used to thinking of cutting wire by this way, but we don't. We wanna really, and the nice thing is that if you can see, you've got a tabletop there. So that's nice. You've got a nice tabletop. And then the other way would be, so a tabletop is easier to work with when your wire is a tabletop. So I'm gonna take this end, this was on the pinched end, and make a tabletop here. Voila. 2 ends with tabletop, that's one. I'm gonna get another one. They all can be, I love cutting all different sizes. This one's gonna be 2 inches. And I have to cut the other end because only one end gets to be a tabletop. The other end is kind of a little bit pinched. And I'm gonna cut, just, for me, it's I'm gonna cut another 2.5 inch. I'm gonna cut another 3 inch. So I have a couple different sizes here. I've got 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna do one more. That's maybe the shortest of all, just in case. And I want this to be like a tabletop. Voila. And that's it. I'm going to put this aside for now. I can do more later. So I think as you guys know me now, you guys know I like doing a lot of like more spontaneous and random work. So I'm going to go in and once I get started, I'll start with a large one here, but this is really forging. This is forging the paddle on the end, and I'm going to keep it a little bit thicker in the middle, because when you're looking at objects that have large and small and large again, you know, not all the same width, it makes a piece more interesting. Okay, so I'm going to lay this right like this. Remember, I talked about the posture. I talked about holding my hammer in the right place. And you can see I'm just paddling out this front part. And this is just going to be an ASMR. I'm going to go through the pieces. You can see how gentle I am working. I am not hammering hard. Oh, this one has a pinch on it. Remember, I was saying that it's nice to have this flat edge, because you get a beautiful edge when it's a flat edge. Okay, I'm going to come in on this side, and I'm just, wherever I hit, I'm just spreading my wire, so you can move your hammer any way you want to. I am on my way to getting some good biceps here. I don't have to move everything so quickly. What I'm going to do next, after I hammer all these out, with this type of a shape that I'm talking about, I'll be able to come in once I anneal them, and I'll really get them to spread. So in order to do this type of work, you want to really have dead, soft wire. So if you're working with sterling silver or even steel, you can have dead, soft wire. Anytime bronze comes in, or anytime you get a 12 gauge or a 14 gauge, it's going to be dead soft. So don't worry. It's a smaller gauges. You can order hard, half hard, dead soft, or whatever you want to. But this one actually is going to be soft. So this is soft. That's why I can get in here and hammer with this. When I'm hammering, I'm making these brittle. So they are getting harder and harder and harder. So what I can, you know, and really if you think about it, it's like it's crazy, but metal is molecules, or all these molecules, and as I start hitting it with the hammer, they bunch up and get really hard. As soon as I hit them with heat, they loosen up and relax, and I can get in here and bend this like butter. Okay, so I'm just going to keep working, and you guys can just take a look and see. Just getting it a little bit started. You can see they're growing a little bit longer. I can feel the nice workout in my biceps. So I'm going to come over here and anneal. So here they are, and I've got the water in front of me. Normally I don't have the water here, but I have the water there so I can hit it afterwards and just quench them. Okay, so here's the torch. This is MAP gas, and this gets it hot really quickly. I'm going to bring these up to a red glow. Get them all nice and warm. It's harder to see in the light. There we go. Everybody was brought up to a red glow. Get a good quench in here. And the nice thing about bronze is that pretty much the fire scale is quenched away. So that's kind of cool. See that, how it comes out clean? Bronze does that. Okay. And here's my own little commercial to interrupt in here. Hey, I just wanted to let you guys know that I just opened up a workshop in my studio in person. If anyone is interested, I am working on techniques. You can pop into my profile just to check out the workshops that I have. I'm only taking 8 people at a time, and I'm going to open up a few more, but let me know what you'd be interested in doing in the workshops. Let me know. But this first one you're going to see, I have it open to 8 people. It's filling very quickly, and this is nature-based jewelry, which is all of this new work that I'm doing with you know, leaves and flowers, but really building them in sterling silver, and all these different connections that I've been working on with wire, with sheet metal, with, you know, just doing all these type of hinging and movement attachments. So these are all about attachments and bringing nature-based jewelry into your own body of work. So what I'm really interested in is a 5-day workshop, and I'm really interested in working with a small group of people and bring your work in when you come in. I want to work with you on how to really develop a powerful body of work and how you can bring it down into a line of jewelry that is affordable to people too. You want both ends. You want the high end, you want the low end. And this way, if you're really looking to have people know your jewelry, or hey, oh my gosh, you know, I have people that are like, oh my gosh, that's Susan Lennart's jewelry, wow, you know. If you want your work recognizable, which that's what you really want, because then you'll get into the events that you want to get into, you'll get into your galleries or, you know, retail shows or museum stores or whatever you're looking to do. You know, people will recognize your work. You'll have a cohesive body of work to start with, which is amazing. So anyway, that's some of the things that I'm just started just yesterday, you know, of bringing these ideas into there. That's how I like to work with people. I love working for the good of the whole and really helping develop you as an artist too. So check it out in my profile. They're my in-person workshops. Okay, let me grab a paper towel. I don't want to put water on my anvil. Okay. All right, this is going to be nice because I'm going to go through the same thing, but I will be able to really get these edges looking beautiful. You'll see them flare out so quickly, like butter. I say like butter. If it's bending at all, just take it on the side and hit it. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and flare these out on the edges. Okay. Now I'm going to anneal these, and then I'm going to clean up the tips and make sure they're nice and soft and round and safe. The middle is going to get the hottest. So when you're annealing, you can definitely overheat, definitely. And what happens is your metal just curls up, of course. But so what I do, the inside is going to get the hottest. So I stay on the outside a little bit more and work the whole outside. Then I just have to really hit it lightly on the inside. And also because I have the inside as thicker and the outside is flared out with more sheet metal rather than wire, the inside is going to need a little bit more heat, and the outside is not going to need that much heat. You know, when you're annealing, you saw it turn up to a red glow, so that's what you're looking for, is that red glow. Voila! I have some beautiful pieces. I'm just going to actually, you can either file down if you want the sides. I'm going to bring it over to my jeweler's wheel and just. Okay. I've got a 52 drill bit, and I'm just going to go in. If you want to, you can make some marks on the end. And drill through. Okay. I'll just do this. Okay.
You're going to be doing a voiceover, right?
I'm just going to leave it quiet. I'm just going to put music on.
You're gonna blurt out what we're talking about. Too late.
Voila. This, I'm going to show you how I'm going to put this together. So this is a single piece, but if I wanted to, I could create dimension around here that you guys have seen in this piece that I'm showing you. So I'm just going to show you the setup for all that dimension. It's beautiful. You know, so it really is trying to use, there, setting up all this. So you know, if I was actually, I'm just going to do the one single piece, but if I was doing layers and layers around here, as you can see, I would bring this all the way up through all these different layers. 1, 2, 3 layers right here. I'd bring it up through 3 layers there. I need another couple pieces, but I'm going to need to do a closure there, so I'd have to bring it up through here. So whether, you know, you're doing 2 or 3 around here, and I have definitely dimensional pieces, you want to bring it up through other pieces. So you do your whole layout first, and then this comes next. Okay, I'm going to show you. So for now, I'm just going to put this first layer in. So just imagine this going around and around. Could be a choker, a necklace, however you want it to be. It's such a cool piece. But for this here, this is where I'm going to use my 20 gauge, and I'm going to bring this tiny anvil here, and I'm going to do these with nail heads. So this is the way I do my nail heads. I'm going to do a couple nail heads. I'm going to turn the light off so you can see how it's done. Okay. Okay. With these nail heads, oh my God, I think I showed you guys this already, but I'm just going to do it on this whole big piece like this, and I'm going to just close it really, really close on here and make nail heads for these. So here we go. The first one is here. Nail head. Okay, there's my first one. You really don't need them, you don't need them long at all. This actually worked out perfect the way that I had these two. So usually what I do is I start with the inside. I'm just going to run this whole wire through. I start with the inside. Why? Because the inside, there we go. The inside is done. And then I can, you know, the outside is easier to do a nail head on the outside. So watch this. I'm going to probably leave it up about 1/4 of an inch right here. See that? Maybe 1/2 an inch. I'm going to bring these both over to the same side. You could either hold this with pliers or your hands. It takes a long time for this to travel. And this is flux. If you guys know flux, it takes a long time for this to travel. Up, mistake. I'm going to do another one. That was a mistake. That's okay, that happens sometimes. There's a pretty one on this side though, wasn't it? Okay, let's get this out of here. Oop, the other side has a little bit of just a little bit. So let me get that cut. This happens sometimes, guys, just so you guys know. All right, this will come out as we get going. I'll do another end of it. I'll do this one right here. Okay, so let's make that nail head again. It's good to watch these over and over again anyway. I'm going to cut it shorter to begin with. I used to cut very tiny nail heads. Okay, So this is coming through the inside and coming through the top. Ooh, this is a long one. We'll see. Sometimes when you have it too long, cut it a little shorter. I can always use that with any of my scraps that I need. There we go. I quench in flux because it actually takes care of the fire scale. If there's a little bit, if it's too loose in here, I can get that tighter. There we go, that fell. I'll get that tighter a little bit later on. Or actually, if I need it tighter, let me show you this. Get it real close. There we go. We got a little bit of that. We got a little closer, so there we go. We have a piece that's a lot closer, okay? So now to get the next one in, that's the only ones we need. I'm gonna do a couple more nail heads, 2 more. You guys can watch over and over. One. So you can see I needed probably about, a good, for these 3 nail heads, I needed a good 4 inches, I'd say. This is the best size. So I'm going to come in from the center. Okay. Make sure this is far away, so there's not a heat sink. You do not want a heat sink to be anywhere near. Okay. Quench in there. There we go. That one's looking good. One left right here. So I want to really make sure that this can bend and fit together. This last one, you don't want to have any tension on this, because if I have tension, if I have any tension, it's just going to snap. So you want to get everything in place. And if it's too small, you can put in another piece. You don't have to stop it here. Here's a little small piece here. I can put in a piece like this if I wanted to. Actually, that might be kind of cool. That might be kind of cool just to do that. So let me mark where I have to put this piece in here. Get that drilled. Yeah. A lot of times I just work my pieces as I go. Oops, I have to get my lights back on. My power back on, power force. Okay. The sizes both drilled. You can see it doesn't have to be exact. Doesn't have to be exact. So this one's going to go here. So if that one's there, I'm going to drill one right here. But you just don't want to have tension. See, so that worked out pretty good. You just don't want to have tension when you're putting it together with drawing a bead. So you guys can see how you can go around and around. So we're going to open this up to about right here. Ooh, it's going to be so good. See how it's going to be harder to get onto the inside. So again, I'm going to start on the inside. I'm almost there. I can bring this piece around. Dip it in the flux. Get me some flux. This time I'm going to use my pliers. Yep. If I can get this stacked right. See, it's all of really, you guys, it's like, there's a lot of tricky things. I'm used to doing this and it's quick. Okay, let me bring it over here. I'm going to bring it over here. Actually, if I can bring it closer to the edge, you can see I can get a better swoop in there. And there is one left. And I'm going to show you where that is right here. Once this is in, I'll have to tighten these up a little bit. But it always is good. Remember the second layer. If I was going to put a second layer in here, this one would go with it. So, one more. Okay, from the inside. And now this one, you guys, you can hit with a little bit of solder afterwards. I'm going to actually get this moved over to here. Or you can go around, you can tighten these up, or you can do a double layer in here. This just needs a little bit more, little hit of solder. You guys are all, we're silversmiths here, so we all know how to do that. Okay, here we go. The last, this is the last nail head. This one snapped open, so I need to get this a little more closed. See that, how it snapped open when I was working this? So I'm gonna get this down like this. Down a little closer. Sometimes things are fumbly, you guys. Like actually, I'm thinking now these are heat sinks, so I don't really want to use my pliers too much, but this is actually gonna help me in this case. So I'm gonna actually get this in here pretty close. There we go. There. Strange as it looks, this is going to be the best move. I need to hang this on the edge. Voila. Okay. You have Good one, Susan. Okay, I've got one more to put on, guys. Let's see if I can get this out. Yep. I've got one more to put on, so don't worry. Sometimes 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's why it's always good to have this little bit of extra here, you know, a little bit of extra wire. From the inside. And the inside you want to be comfortable. That's why I love these nail heads. You want this to be comfortable. I think just as long as it's not spring-loaded. You don't want spring-loaded because that creates a breakage. There's a little bit of room on this one, but we could do this again. Let's see. You guys get to see firsthand just all the working out. There we go. Okay. Okay, you guys, what a beautiful piece. It came out beautiful. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to hit everything with a little bit of solder. And I'll be all set. I think you guys, I'm going to pickle this. If you guys want to see me hit it with a little solder, you can, but it'll make it nice and solid. So let me get this pickled. My pickle's over here. Getting my board set up over here, guys. I think I am just going to use an easy, I'm going to hit these edges. I'm going to go in and solder. Just going to hit it with my brush. And you can see it's just going to be a little wiggly. It'd be fine as a bracelet, but, you know, it'd be fine. It would work great, you know, if you want it that way. So it's all depending on what you want, you know, what you're looking for. But this one, I'm going to hit it with just a little bit of easy, and I'm going to hit it right inside here. So I'm just spraying the edges a little bit, spraying my easy solder. I'm getting my pick, and this time I'm turning on my... I'm going to turn on my acetylene because I like my acetylene. So we're using, you could use butane at this point, you guys. It'd be using butane. So, get this. Once I just get it running on, hang on a second. Okay, I've got this turned on. Work with my gauges a little. There we go. Okay, that's going to be a little better. Turn up your gauges, you get a little bit more oxygen. There you go. Oh. I closed it. I actually closed it. Oh my gosh, all right. Good, Susan. Okay. So I'm going to actually just work with my easy solder. I do not need it this hot. There we go. You want to hear about that sound? I'm going to pick up a piece of easy. This one right here looks like a good one. I'm going to get in, I'm going to heat it, and I'm just going to kind of heat this up, and then I'm going to place my solder down right between. There we go. Okay. There we go. Grab another one for a different spot. You don't want too much. Like this one actually is beautifully. There we go. That one's done. Remember, with easy solder, you have to let it sit a little bit. Okay. I just give it a couple seconds together before I move anything, because easy just takes a little bit more time. Let's see if that one. Okay. Looks like all of it stayed. Let me quench this and see. There we go. Now I have a bracelet that's nice and sturdy and soldered in all the right spots. So I'm in good shape. Looks good. And on the bronze, you can see I really kept the, I really kept the solder on the inside, because, and I showed you how to keep the solder on the inside, because when you're working with bronze, with sterling, with silver solder, you end up sometimes being able to see a lot of the silver. So you know you're a good silversmith if you don't see silver on there. So that's the idea of how to do this. So I hope you guys like this. And remember, you guys, like, subscribe. If you guys like my work, jump over, take a look at my membership, because all of this is building. We have a great community in here. So I'd love to see you there.